Welcome to TruPowur, home of the most powerful marketing tools, training, and technology on planet Earth. Get ready to earn, enjoy, and experience more than you ever dreamed was possible. If you're tired of just getting by and ready to really thrive, then buckle in and listen up. Here's your host, Matt Fox.
Well, welcome, everybody. It is Saturday, January 29th, the last weekend of the month. We've got some good stuff to go over today. So let me share my screen with you and let's jump right into it. All right. So to start with, let's take a look at the agenda here. All right. Some updated the customer lead request system. I think that's going to make it a lot easier for everybody to know exactly when they're requesting leads, what those leads pertain to. And so if you go to the quick launch menu, if you are trying to add or request customers for your CRM, then you would go down to the royal button here, the purple button. We want to give our customers that royal color and click on that to request customer leads, and that'll pull up this page. Now we've made some changes on here to really try and make it a little easier for you. And then I'm going to explain some of that because I know that some people had some questions about it, and I want to kind of delve into that just a little bit so that you have a better understanding as to what those leads really mean. And so other than putting in your name, your TruPowur email address, and your extension, just to make it easier for support to make sure they get those into the right account, when you are going to select your customers, you select, instead of before you used to select the state, now you select the type of customer. So let's say, for example, if you're wanting residential customers that are electric only, then once you select that, it is going to give you a list of the states where residential customers who are deregulated for electric only. So there's, Connecticut, Delaware, Maine, New Hampshire, New York, and Texas. So if you are wanting just natural gas, same thing, it's going to identify those states that are specific to that characteristic or that type of customer. So commercial customers, you've got matrix. Electric, you've got matrix natural gas, and then you have electric and natural gas matrix, as well as natural gas custom pricing only, electric and natural gas custom pricing only, and then utility audit only. Now, just so that you know, the utility audit can be done in all 50 states, Canada, and Mexico. So it does not matter whether it's regulated or deregulated. So if you're getting customers from one of these other areas, you still can open with the utility audit, not residential, but on the commercial side. So you can still open with the utility audit. These states right here are just the states that do not have any level of deregulation whatsoever. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 states that at some capacity does not have any kind of deregulation. So what are the difference between matrix and custom pricing? Well, to better understand that, let's go into the back of the back office of the pricing platform, our pricing kiosk. And so over here under the menu tab, well, first off, in the market updates, you know that you can always go in here and look at where the market is going to be more favorable than anywhere else in the US. When each day the system does analytics on all of the territories and then basically creates this report so that you can see at a quick glance rather than you having to manually go in there and start doing the analytics on each state trying to figure out which one should you go to next. This gives you a really good idea. So you'll notice that it says commercial matrix pricing, and then for electric, and then you've got those states where it's going to be the most favorable. And then you've got natural gas, which is matrix pricing, residential matrix pricing, and natural gas, which is residential natural gas matrix pricing. So everything that you see on this list is going to be based on matrix pricing. And why is that? Well, if we're going to enter a customer and we're going to do an instant quote, we want to be able to see what the pricing is going to be compared to other suppliers based on that matrix. Now, we're in the back office, so obviously this is going to be commercial. We always do residential through the front of the platform, but this is going to give you a good idea as to what is available for that customer on a matrix level. So to get a better understanding of that, let's go over to the map, and so that you can see those three different things. So residential matrix, matrix pricing is where the suppliers on a daily basis send us a matrix pricing, which is just the rate sheet, which has several hundred different variables based on a lot of different thresholds. And so depending on that customer's usage, current pricing, and where they're located, there's a lot of different variables in there. And so these are the states where you're going to have residential matrix pricing. Here's right where we're at, residential matrix pricing. And so you can see that we have non-active is the gray, electric markets, which is the teal, and natural gas markets is the green, and the dark blue is going to be electric and natural gas. So in Texas, residential is only, we only have electric for residential. California, you have natural gas. Illinois, you have both electric and natural gas. If you click on that state, it will show you which suppliers are available in those particular states for that particular market on the residential side. Now, on the commercial matrix, again, it's going to show you the states that are available for matrix pricing. That means we can give them a custom pricing right off the bat. The commercial custom pricing is going to open up things a lot more. So you've got a lot more available to you. However, all of these states, other than the ones that are in the matrix pricing, because you're going to have some that are going to be in, like Illinois has matrix pricing, but you can also do custom pricing. So we're not trying to confuse you. So you're going to see some states are going to be both on the matrix and the custom pricing. The custom pricing is using the reverse auction tool. And so we want to take that customer's information from their utility bill. We'll take and import that or transpose that data into the pricing platform. And then we will have to, if they're a state that does not have matrix pricing available, then we have to use custom pricing. So for example, if, let's say, for example, if I have a customer, like right here, let's just use this one here. So I'm looking at this customer, and if I'm going to look at today's rates, and I would look at, this is going to be matrix pricing, today's rates, because that's going to be updated on a daily basis. But if I'm going to do a reverse auction or basically request custom pricing, that custom pricing is done through the process of a reverse auction. So once I click that, it is going to bring up all of the suppliers and everything in here that I need to afford this customer custom pricing. And so it's going to give the suppliers the ability to make 3 bids and 3 counter bids. I'm going to set my margins to however much I want to make, 5 mils, 3 mils, whatever. And then it's going to run for 3 days. Now you can set this for a longer period of time, but 3 days is sufficient, unless it was in conjunction maybe with the holiday or something like that, and you felt like maybe you needed an extra day, then you could extend that a little bit further. So and most of the bids, quite frankly, are going to come in within the last few hours. But this is going to send a notification to all of the suppliers and let them know that we have a customer that either requires custom pricing, or they may qualify for matrix pricing. But if their KWH annually is more than $1 million or more per year, then we also need to use custom pricing. The only time you can use matrix pricing is for customers who qualify in those areas where a matrix pricing is available, and their usage. When we talk about usage, we always talk about usage in the annual sense. And so their usage is below 1 million per year. So if we're going to get custom pricing for this customer, and there's always going to be a pricing help where it's going to, kind of give you an idea of where you need to be. And so it's telling us that we should be looking at long-term contracts, 48 to 60 months. And so if I'm going to get custom pricing for this company, then I'm going to want to take and put in 60 months, and I can leave everything else the same. I'm also going to want to see about getting maybe 48 months. Let's see right here. And so maybe the customer was also curious about seeing 36 months. And so whatever you place in here is exactly what these suppliers are going to bid on. So they're going to bid on 60-month, 48-month, 36-month terms. And so we want to make sure there are opportunities where the supplier may have sweet spot deals. So what is a sweet spot deal? Well, if let's say I'm NG and I have if I'm going to bid on a 60-month term, let's say it's 6 cents. And so they put in a bid for 6 cents, but they have a contract that is 59 months that is 5.7. If we don't put in some other text in here to let them know that we also are open to any sweet spot deals, then they're only going to bid on what you've asked for. It's very literal. And so I always like to include, please include any sweet spot deals. So that way they know, okay, this broker or agent is open to looking at anything that might be close. So if I've got 57-month or a 58 or 59-month contract, and it's a much better rate than what I can give you on the 60-month, I want to know that because it's not too far off, right? I would much rather have 5.7 with 59 months than to have 6 cents at 60 months. So make sure you always include that phrase in your instructions to the supplier, or anything else that the customer might be requesting. You can include that. When this gets submitted, you have this little checkbox here, and that will invite the customer. So the customer will actually get an email to a secure area of the back end of the website that they will actually be able to watch the bidding live. It might be a little boring because it's going to be over 3 days, right? Most of that's going to be happening within the last day or the last hours. And so, but they're going to be able to have, you're going to be able to provide that customer that transparency so that they can see. Now, they're not going to see the mills that you've set this to. They're not going to know any commission or anything like that in any of the deals. They're just going to see the suppliers that are coming in bidding against each other, and the suppliers can see each other's bids. That's the whole purpose, is we want them to start outbidding each other and driving the price below matrix pricing. Okay. And so including the customer in that process is very valuable because it gives you that transparency to the customer to allow them to watch the bidding process as it goes as well. So once this is submitted, then the suppliers will start to bid and counter bid on that deal. Now, when it's done, the customer needs to make a decision. Outside of maybe getting a deal that is going to, for some strange reason, if the custom pricing was not more favorable than matrix pricing, then obviously I wouldn't tell the customer to move forward with that. I would stick with the matrix pricing. But this is not a shopping exercise. In other words, we're not doing this in effort to try and get the customer. We need to make sure the customer understands that at the conclusion of this auction, we need to make a decision. And so we don't have a whole lot of time because those suppliers put those bids in place and they're aggressive against each other. They're basically laying out their hand to their competitors as to what they're willing to do. And so their competitors are also in a position to look at what can we do to kind of gain this customer, because obviously they want that customer for a long period of time as well. So this is how you go about putting in a reverse auction or a request for custom pricing. I think you're going to find it to be, especially going into these winter months where people are having a lot of issues. And you remember last February when we had that cold snap and everybody got their rear end handed to them because they were on index rates, and people who had a $10,000 a month electric bill went to $200,000 in 3 days. We don't want to do that to our customers. So having a fixed all-in rate is going to guarantee them that rate no matter what. Okay, so that is how you do and generate an auction or a custom pricing. They are both one and the same. So that is pretty straightforward. It is really easy. And so that is why when you see these, you're going to see these down here where it says custom pricing only. These are going to be the states. Like right here, I've got commercial customer leads for electric and natural gas that are custom pricing only. That's going to be the lion's share of states that you can work in. And so this is probably going to be my top 10 right here, right? So you've got California, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Texas, Virginia, Washington, D.C., Alberta, Canada, and Ontario, Canada. And so those, when you're ordering your leads, you want to be conscious of what it is that you're going to be doing with those customers. Outside of the residential customers, you can open with the utility audit if they are matrix, whether they're custom pricing, whether they're utility audit only. Any commercial customer nationwide, all 50 states, Canada, Mexico, does not matter. You can do the utility audit. The utility audit goes backwards 3 years. renegotiating their electric contract, which we don't want to talk about with the customer when we're talking about the utility audit, but we want to make sure that they are privy to the utility audit in moving forward. And so I wanted to make sure that everybody understood how this works and what the difference is on those two. So that's going to make it a lot easier for you to understand. I want to thank everybody that is on the call today. And for those who are waiting to watch this on the replay, sometimes we forget to record. And a lot of times the Q&A sessions will be chopped out on the replay. So a lot of times there's good information that you're not seeing because you're not on the call. So join us on the call. Anyways, have a great weekend. And thank you for being here. And you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So have a great weekend. We'll see you all later. Bye now.